So we got through the campaign all the way to Black Sun, which, well, other people would have done in half the time, I guess. But I don't play this game actually that much recently, so I mean, that's fine. The build's kind of fun. The build is a, well, just like cold spirit thorns spam druid, basically. Quick build overview, ice thorns, basically just like as a defensive mechanism. 3-point dagger thorns, which really only enable bramble armor, which makes this be castable when you get hit, or at least like a 20% chance. Another 20% chance to have this casted again, so like 40% chance basically when you hit these casts. What happens when they're casted? They can hit enemies and give you stacks of firewood heart, which overall just like gives you more percent cold damage and a percent increased freeze rate multiplier. And also 1 point here, which unlocks the thorn barrier, which gives you more armor. So this is only like armor and cold / freeze rate multiplier buff skill, nothing else. The Spriggan form itself, also like the core of the skill, of this build rather. 1 point over here for Spirit Thorns damage. You probably want like this maxed out, honestly, because it's multiplicative, more damage, right? At some point I should probably like max this out. That's probably totally what I'm doing right here. 2 points here and then 1 point here to convert all the physical and poison chance to cold / frostbite, which makes this a cold build. 1 point here. I had 3 points here earlier during leveling, but now I don't have any rage problems anymore. If you are starting out with this build and you want this to be maxed, probably ASAP to sustain your rage as soon as possible. Then 3 point Spirit Vortex to cast Maelstrom whenever you cast Spirit Thorns. That is like a 45% chance. 3 points in Spirit Whisperer to get these Whale Spirits, which also will cast additional Spirit Thorns for you. Every 5 casts you get +1. You can have a max of +3 from the skill alone. And then I am personally trying out this, the Veil Tide, which gives me another +3 Whale Spirits on top. And whenever the action max is reached, so like +6, then the next attack is gonna proc Entangling Roots for me. I don't think this is like necessarily good or bad, I don't know. I think it's kind of fine for now. For endgame you might wanna use something else though. And then 4 points in Branch Storm, just to have them like pierce through for better AoE, and also Cold Pen, which is obviously very, very good. Remaining points would go either in Rose Meadow or just in Iron Bark for way more armor. Honestly, this is probably, like in hardcore, you probably want to max this out ASAP actually. Yeah, the rest here doesn't seem that good, honestly. But this is like really good. So probably you want to like take out 3 points here. And then the last 2 points would go into Ironbark, then you have like 5 points here. And then if you have +2 skills like I have, you can put 2 more points in Rose Meadow, for example. Or like back into Wild Tide. Talking about Maelstrom, which is getting procced by the just like default attacks, basically like the Spirit Thorns. We have 4 points in Whirlpool for stack duration. That's pretty much like always wanted. 1 point in Turbulence to unlock 2 points in Calm, which unlock Windswept for haste and Wind Fury for frenzy. So you will always have at least 6 stacks up, which is why this is so important as well. And this gives you like haste and frenzy, because otherwise your casting speed and your movement speed would pretty much suck ass. Arctic Chill just gives you like chill around you. Chill is a pretty nice debuff that slows enemy attacks, so that is a pretty nice way to like basically also have less damage taken. And then of course the Sleet-footed thing over here gives you dodge rating per Maelstrom stack, which can, if you have lots of Maelstroms, get pretty high numbers. Then we have Summon Spriggan, which is basically just like an aura bot. It is a pet, yes, but the aura from this pet is so freaking good. You want to use this at least until either this keeps dying a lot, which is probably going to be at some point in Empowered Monos. So up until Empowered Monos, you just always want to use this anyway. And then once you hit Empowered Monos, you have to either gear for like pet health to like keep this one alive, or you just have to like have good overall gear so that you don't need the aura from this anymore. The auras that it has are healing aura, right? It just heals you. Then aura of kinship, this gives you like additional spell damage plus 15, which is actually a very high amount. And then even crazier is the aura of retribution, 8 base percent crit, which is pretty sick, and even stronger probably, at least in hardcore, is 72% crit avoidance, as long as this just exists. And then the other points are gonna be like put into more health and more armor. The last remaining 4 points would probably go into like even more armor and just even more like health. Just to like keep us alive so that these auras are there as long as possible. Everything else and this I've never looked at ever, because everything else would just be like minion scaling and I don't care about that. Entangling roots, the last skill here. I think you kind of want to set this up generally more like as a panic skill whenever you get stunned later on in like high monos. Before that, it seems... I mean, it's kind of cool to like proc it with this. Other than that, it's more like something else on top that's rather optional right now. You could also probably pick, where is it, like Eterra's Blessing if you wanted to, for more healing, but honestly, it's also not really needed. Right now, Shredding Vines gives me Fizzless Shred, which is converted to Cold Shred via Winter Knit Thorns. And then Ice Shard Roots also converts all the poison damage from these to Frostbite, so this like, well, applies some Shred and applies like Frostburn Flat Cold damage. And then you definitely want like the heal as well later on. As far as I know, there's like 5 more points here, 5 more levels. Could like put 2 or 3 at least here. And then also you want this to not be dodged by enemies, so the shred always applies. You could have this like leech more or like immobilize for longer. You need 3 points here to make it like an AoE 360 around you. And then this is basically like the panic thing, right? Like whenever you get stunned, every 20 seconds when you get stunned at least, you cast this automatically. Which is pretty nice, at least later on when you will be stunned from like higher damage mobs and like higher stuff in the monos, right? Last remaining 4 points in Ice Thorns would probably just, I mean, 1 more in Firewood Heart, and then probably more into Bark Shield, like 3 in Bark Shield, or even more armor. Here, as I said, more Iron Bark. Here, probably like 1 more in Arctic Chill, and then the remaining points, I don't know. I mean, you could also like put more into like Healing Winds, but I think Allies is not yourself, so that doesn't actually do anything. It could be like Freeze Res Multiplier, or I don't know, or this, the Lightning, which is kind of whatever, or just like mana efficiency, I guess. Yeah. I mean, chance on kill to cast Maelstrom is probably also not bad, actually. Like, you could also go like 4 points here into like 5 points here, honestly, instead of like the chill. Like, have even more up for more dodge rating overall. It's probably also nice. What do you do when you remove Spriggan? You probably, I think, just use Eterra's Blessing, because this one, I think, has some synergy with the Thorn Shield. Yeah. Alright, for gear, rather for passes, let's check out passes first. So I am a Prominence base class, 8 points in attunement. I currently have 5 here and 5 here for more damage, which is very useful like early for leveling, and then 2 here. But I think later on you want actually like 7 points in Prominence strength for the armor. So you got like 8, 7 for 15. And then I guess you have like 5 in Tempest Bond or 5 in Hunter's Restoration for just like health, I guess. And that would be like your 20 points for Promulist. And then you can go for more points in Berserker, of course, if you either go like low health, like low life build, or just like as an additional like safety net on top of endurance to like not die. In Beastmaster, I currently have 0 points, but you do want eventually 8 points in your Sun's strength. You pretty much want these on any Promulist just because of strength being armor, and also just like DR, right? It's like 8 times 2 is what, 16% DR on top of everything else. It's just like very, very nice. And then Aspect of the Boar is also really, really good, honestly. You probably want like 8 here and 4 here or something like that. Very good. And Shaman, also currently 0 points. And the only thing that is worth considering is Shamanic Infusion. Up to 8 points here for attunement and penetration is pretty nice. I mean, pen is always good. And attunement is, on one hand, damage. On the other hand, also attunement gives you crit avoidance via Harmonious Wisdom. In the Druid tree, you wanna get like armor endurance over here. For like 5 points here first, then 5 points Druidic Prowess. For like the attribute stuff. Then you want Focused Wrath for the rage decay stuff reduction. And also more damage by transformed. Then you want Wind in the Leaves for the cast speed. And also more speed on Spriggan form. Then just like 2 points here and 1 point here to reach this tier. And in this tier you want, I'm pretty sure, like both Force of Nature as well as Harmonious Wisdom. 8 points here to unlock the crit avoidance. I'm not sure actually if Force of Nature is actually better in the end or Piercing Gale. Maybe you want like a mix. This is Cold Pen, this is flat spell damage. I mean, both is very good actually. 1 point Woodland Beings and 1 point Natural Duality, at least as long as you're playing the Spriggan. Right, this makes the Spriggan also not die as much. More armor, more health for the companion. And then the final tier, Eternal Nature, gives you spell damage. But it's not actually like that much per point, it's only like 1. So I'm not even sure if this is like that great. Like if you're not playing the Spriggan, I would probably like remove all of these. But you definitely want Hide Skin for like health and endurance threshold. This would be my next max out for sure. Like this, and then the points here, and the points here. And then after that, I have honestly no idea, but there's gonna be something that's useful for sure. Like just more points here, or like more points here. The points here for sure are also nice. This right here is only for melee hits, otherwise it's also, if you are playing melee, this is pretty good as well. Like more DR is insane. For gear, for stats, I mean eventually you want to like max out your res, but unless Epoch it's kinda like a secondary stat, I feel like. Health of course is super important in this game. Crit chance avoidance, well with the Spriggan, where is it? Here it is. We have 90% right now, so I just need like 10 additional crit avoidance from gear eventually. I mean, I'm level 54, so like having 90% at level 54 is already like very high. Just need like 10% on top from some gear. And my gear itself, I mean, Legacy of the Quiet Forest is insane. This is a, well, like great belt. Probably like best in slot for this build, or like any Spriggan form build, honestly. The rest is just like whatever, right? You want like vitality, percent health, attunement, vitality, resistances, elemental damage. The crit chance is kind of not that great, I guess. Chance to ignite is also like suboptimal. I mean, at this level, anything will work as long as you don't die, right? Because you basically just get all damage from the skill itself, like the skills itself and the attributes. The gear is not that important at this stage yet. Just to the Spriggan form, kind of lucky. Like this is actually like already almost best in slot. I feel like the leech rolled max. Increased casting speed could be something better maybe, but it's not bad at all. Plus 2 Spriggan form is great. Fizz res, good, and like another res. I mean, there aren't really like that many premium stats on Relic anyway, so this is probably pretty nice. Boots, I mean, you always want movement speed, vitality, hybrid health later, and probably flat health on top, so like just tons of health ideally. And for this level, these are pretty decent. These gloves, I mean, they have 19 spell cold damage. That's why I'm like mainly using them right now. It's actually like a lot of damage, but eventually you probably just want like something else. Like there is no LP to be gotten on these set items yet, so this is not going to be viable for endgame. And I mean, items on this level you just get like res and health ideally. There's some damage stuff in here, but you don't really need it. Mostly just want like health and res again on idols. And yeah, that's the build. I mean, what was this, like 8 hours to this first mono, which is no achievement whatsoever, but yeah, that's what I played today on this patch 0.9.1. Alright, thanks for watching guys.